Hi ladies, welcome to the Feminine Universe. I am so happy to have you here and I'm sending tons of love your way today. I think we'd all agree that the best relationships are the ones where both parties are getting what they want and are having their needs met. But for some people, relationships consist of them bending over backwards for others and getting nothing in return, or doing all of the taking only to be surprised when people decide to disappear from their lives without a trace. Because of this, I think it would be a great time to break down one of the best concepts out there on how to have happy and successful relationships. Understanding Dr. Gary Chapman's 5 love languages is a great way to understand what you need in a relationship and to understand what other people need from you, even if they may not be aware enough to verbalize it. So let's get into it. The first love language is words of affirmation. As humans, words have a huge impact on all of us, in both good ways and bad. But for those who have this as their primary love language, words mean even more to them than they do to the average person. These people will feel extraordinarily lifted by positive words, and they may also be crushed by words that others might take lightly. So jokes that fly with other friends may be a little more hurtful to them. And you have to remember that even if you're doing the nicest things for these people, failing to vocalize your appreciation with specific words may still leave them feeling neglected. If you're dealing with a boss who needs words of affirmation, taking a minute to thank them for their input or guidance on a project, or complimenting them on a very clear team meeting will really make them feel seen and appreciated. This is something that they need and will shift some power to you, even though they're technically higher on the corporate ladder. The next love language is quality time. Every human wants to feel important and wants to feel like they matter, especially to those they love. For people with quality time as their love language, this need is multiplied by 10. They want to spend time together and give each other undivided attention while spending that time. Liking long walks on the beach is a punchline in a lot of dating jokes, but this is the perfect example of quality time. A long walk on the beach at sunset. It's just you and them with no interruptions and unlimited time to talk, share experiences, and future dreams with each other. It's not just about being physically present for them, but mentally engaged. One of the most offensive things you can do to these people is be physically present, but on your phone or doing some sort of other distracting activity while they're trying to communicate with you. Of course, quality time is important in a romantic relationship, but a good friend can also have quality time as their love language. And I am all about not neglecting your friendships. Cooking a meal with your girlfriends before settling in and watching a movie and then discussing your opinions on it can mean way more to this kind of friend than a crazy night out with tons of people and music so loud you can barely hear each other. The next love language is acts of service. For people who prefer acts of service, their mantra would be something like, show me rather than tell me. For this person, your love for them should be expressed with actions. They will appreciate you doing thoughtful things for them, particularly things that make their life easier. If you tell them you love them and they're juggling 5 or 6 things and it doesn't cross your mind to take 1 or 2 of those things off their plate, they're going to feel incredibly alone. And no matter how much you say you love them, they won't feel it. And it becomes hard for them to be super present in relationships where they feel alone and that they're juggling everything on their own. With many couples that I've advised, the husbands may be buying their wives thoughtful gifts and saying lovely words of affirmations to remind their wives of how much they love them. But when the wife's love language is acts of service, she still feels alone and overwhelmed, because what would mean the most to her would be him taking something off her plate, like taking the car to be inspected, so she has one less thing to worry about. That would also put her in a place where she can meet his receiving love language of physical touch, because her mind is not on the million things she needs to get done, because she feels like she has a partner helping her tackle the world. The fourth love language we are going to talk about is physical touch. Physical touch is a vital human need. Babies need to be held, and humans release certain hormones associated with bonding and pleasure when experiencing physical contact. And for people with physical touch as their primary love language, this natural human need is only increased. Now, sometimes people jump the gun and say this love language is all about physical or romantic intimacy, but that obviously isn't true, or else there would be no other way to express it, and it would be impossible to share with people who you aren't romantically involved with. And while we're on that note, my loves, if a guy is telling you his love language is physical touch, but he's always fine with sitting on the opposite end of the couch while watching shows, doesn't ever feel the need to hold your hand or give you extra hugs or some sort of physical contact besides bedroom interaction, oh baby, that's a scam. To balance this love language out in a non-romantic way, if you have kids, you might notice some of them may be very much the I can do it types. From a young age, they are Mr. or Miss Independent. But for other kids with touch as their love language, they will need and appreciate more holding, more hugs, and more kisses, even after other kids seem to have grown out of it. And the last love language we're going to talk about is gifts, receiving gifts or giving gifts. The people who feel loved through gifts sometimes get a bad rap, but I think they're just misunderstood. The best way I can describe these people is that they have to see things to believe them. Some people live life through philosophical thought and abstract ideas, but for others, they need to be able to see or feel something in a tangible way for it to be real for them. For people whose love language is receiving gifts, being able to look around and physically see representations of your affection makes it more real for them. For people whose love language is giving gifts, they may not always have the words to express their feelings, and being able to say it with a thoughtful gift is how they can best express themselves. While we're talking about gifts, I want to touch on the one tricky or confusing parts in the realm of love languages, and that is that not everyone receives love in the way that they show it. If your man loves to shower you with gifts, that may be how he shows you love, but he himself might receive love through words of affirmation. So hearing how much you love what he bought you, how well he knows you by picking out the perfect thing, how thoughtful he is, or how much easier that gift makes your life might actually mean way more to him than you buying him gifts in return. So just remember that while they do align sometimes, people do not always receive love in the same way that they show it. And that may have an impact on how compatible two people are. If you need a lot of quality time, but the person you're thinking about getting involved with travels a lot from work, but loves to send gifts to show that they are thinking of you, you may still feel deprived and unable to build that closeness, and they may feel that their gifts are unappreciated. So either having compatible love languages or making a serious effort to learn new ones can make a world of a difference in each person having their needs met within a relationship. Everyone has a combination of all 5 of these love languages, but 1 or 2 of them will tend to be the most dominant in most people. And as you can see, love languages can absolutely be useful in romantic relationships, as well as with friends and family and other platonic relationships as well. When you're able to understand your own needs as well as the needs of others, you'll be able to more effectively interact with people and add just a little more love and understanding into this sometimes crazy world. If you're not sure of your love languages yet, I've included a link to the quiz as well as to the book down below. Wishing you all a day full of love. Until next time, ladies, stay feminine, stay focused, and have fun.